Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and here are make it four things to pay attention to for the upcoming trading week. Now, if you've been following these markets, you notice we've been on a very nice little bear market rally. We've come straight up in the area of supply on the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, and NASDAQ actually broke through it. And all of a sudden, get a Friday session, started to show a little bit of weakness. So maybe the data for this upcoming trading week will give it the little oomph that it needs to get some nice market direction. Let's start things off with the earnings calendar. It is late in the earnings season, but still a lot to go through. This week we have not a lot of big names. It starts to get a little bit light, but as you notice, there's over 1,000 to choose from. Let's start things off on Monday. 1,210 to speak of. You've got Take-Two Communications, Dominion Energy, and Barrick Gold on Monday. Tuesday brings you Akamai and The Trade Desk. Wednesday brings us Disney and the electric darling company out of China, NIO. And Thursday brings us Illumina and Baidu. And that's it. Now, I've only mentioned 9 different companies here, and there is 1,210, which means there's 1,201 other companies reporting earnings. So make sure that you check your earnings calendar so that you don't get caught off guard with an earnings announcement that may impact your portfolio. But honestly, most of them are not big companies reporting. Now, let's take a look at the next thing. We heard Jerome Powell a couple weeks ago talk about inflation, how we felt it was starting to slow down a little bit because everyone's so freaked out about inflation. We're having massive rate increases to help fight inflation and prices are getting really high. Well, the Fed felt it was slowing down, and all of a sudden we had a core PCE number come out that was much higher than expected. So what are we going to look at this week? I have 2 measures of inflation for you. We'll start things off with the Consumer Price Index on the top. That's going to be Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Thursday, you have PPI at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you notice on the hard right edge here, those have been increasing. Specifically, CPI numbers have been getting higher and higher and higher. If that trend continues, the Fed may need to be more aggressive at the upcoming rate meeting in September. So that is your inflation stuff to pay attention to for the week. And finally, we're going to talk about agriculture. We're going to talk about commodities. Specifically, we're going after the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA WASDE report. And that will be happening Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Now, why is this important? Well, the WASDE report identifies supply and demand issues going on globally with regards to agricultural commodities. It stands for the World Agriculture Supply and Demand Estimates. Now, as you've seen over the past few months, we have had tremendous declines in the price of commodities. Cotton, wheat, soybeans, lumber, sugar, a lot of these down 30, 40, 50, even more percentage points. That is incredible declines in price. Now, why is that? A lot of it has to do with supply and demand. And because of the recent issues going on with China, that saber rattling may cause China to say, you know what, we're not going to buy wheat from the United States, or we're going to start buying more corn from Brazil. And there's also different phenomenons going on around the world with extra crops for Brazil with regards to corn this year, etc. So this report gives us a lot of clarity as to not only who's manufacturing or creating or growing these commodities, but also who's buying them. And if we get major shifts in countries like China saying, hey, we're not going to buy that from the US because of what you're doing politically, we're going to now buy that from Brazil, huge change in potential price declines in commodities. Now, that said, if all of a sudden China changes their stance and says, hey, we're going to buy more from US, we could see big increases. So this report, which is released monthly, is critical in understanding the ebb and flow of agricultural commodity products, which will be a fantastic thing to pay attention to for this Friday's trading session. That's it for Monday Morning Must Knows. We'll see you next week.